Let's talk state hoops. Mississippi State hosting Alabama. Hey, Dad, I said earlier, not a good crowd, but a great crowd. I mean, big energy. 9,142 the paid attendance, and that felt like a pretty accurate number for people in there. It was hard to tell for me, there were two things that were going on. One, I was driving, and so I was watching, but I was also trying to pay more attention to the road than I was the screen on my phone. And two, it's dark in the upper deck. And so it was really hard to see, in the end zones up high, if, every seat was full. But you would see those cutaway shots. It's man, this thing looks packed. And the energy in Starkville on Saturday night was great.
The dark part of the upper level there is really tough on an old guy trying to type. I'll put it that way. It's tough.
That's where
I need to bring a little lamp in there. That's where I sit, yeah. Packed house. It was a really good crowd, good energy. There was a good buzz. Student section full 40, 50 minutes before the game even tipped off. Mm-hmm. Just a really good atmosphere. But unfortunately for Mississippi State, as Zach Selman said, an alternative outcome to what you would have preferred, a loss. And the game was tied with 2.5 to go. State led through some parts of the first half, came out in the second half, grabbed the lead, and then immediately gave it back, fought back and forth with Alabama. But at the end of the day, free throws were the difference. State 15 of 25 off the line. They were 4 of 10 in the first half. They come back in the second half strong, and they make 11 straight, make it 15 of 21. 15 of 19, whatever it is. And then I can't do the math. But they missed 6 in the closing moments.
State was 11 of 17 from the line in the second half. They finished 15 of 27. 55.6%.
So they were 11 of 11 in the second half before the 2-minute mark. And then Tolu Smith misses 2 free throws with a chance to tie. Cam Matthews misses 2 free throws with a chance to cut it to 2. And then Shaq Moore misses 2 free throws with a chance to cut it to 3. And that's how the game finishes up. And State didn't play its best game. They let Mark Sears beat them, and as he's wont to do, really, really good player for them. You look at Tolu Smith's stat line, you see 15 and 10, you think, okay, he played all right, but he missed 10 shots from the field and 5 free throws. So he had a chance to have a monster night from the field, but just didn't play his game. I thought Alabama did a good job of getting to him. They played him physically, and it got him off his game. It was a very physical game. You mentioned the officiating, both ends of the court. It felt like sometimes they were just letting them go and playing to the point where it was almost like street ball. And then there was sometimes they would come down the court and you'd breathe on a guy and get a foul call. There was no consistency from the officiating on either side.
I think that's
State had a chance to win.
Game. I think that's a hard type game to call. Mississippi State, right, wrong, or indifferent, but I think it's what Chris Jans wants. Has developed a reputation as being a very physical basketball team. And I think that's what he wants to be. I think he wants to be known as a physical team and a team that plays great defense, and they do that. And I thought Alabama at least tried to match their physical intensity, which feels like a little bit of a stretch for Alabama because they don't necessarily have the pieces to do that. I mean, the guy that was trying to guard Tolu Smith for a lot of the game and did a reasonably good job, Grant Nelson, he's a big kid. He was giving up 30 pounds to Tolu Smith, and so it was a battle. Yeah. And Pringle fouled out in the game, who also was trying to kind of battle down low. He only played 5 minutes. Is that right? He played 6 minutes. Yes. He had 5 fouls in 6 minutes and was a starter for Alabama. He just couldn't.
No points, no rebounds, no assists, 1 turnover, 5 fouls, 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's tough.
Heck of a stat
line.
line.
Night at the office.
But got the win.
But anyway,
and that's what matters.
But I guess ultimately, what I was thinking was that's got to be a hard game to officiate when you know you have one team that is physical, like that is their DNA. And you tend to get a reputation for that. And, opponents are probably going to get more whistles when they face Mississippi State than other teams just because of the style of basketball. I mean, not only does Mississippi State play that way, but they look that. I mean, when you look at Tolu Smith, when you look at DJ Jeffries, when you look at Cameron Matthews, those guys are physically imposing and intimidating. And then when you have a team that tries to match that physical intensity and maybe is willing to play a little chippier than they normally would, I got to believe that's a difficult, tight game to officiate.
I'm sure it is, but that's why they're there. So
yeah,
I can't have any sympathy for him. Show up and hey, hold on. Let me pull a Roy Keane here. That's his job. So yeah, whatever. The officiating is what it is. I never expect great officiating, so it just is what it is. But State had an opportunity to tie, take the lead several times. They missed. Not only they missed free throws at the end, but I showed you that the Tolu line, 5 of 15. He missed 2 or 3 point blank putback attempts. So did Cam Matthews. They had a lot of opportunities in this game. They just didn't take advantage of it. So State needed to get a split this week. They couldn't afford to go 0-2 to start and be 0-3 in the conference. I really thought it would go the other way. Yeah, I really thought it would be the other way. I thought they would beat Alabama but lose to Tennessee. But you take what you can get in this. State's still sitting very good in the net. They have another quad one opportunity on Wednesday with Kentucky coming up, and then they have to face the challenge of Vanderbilt, which is can't lose to them. So that's again, State needs to be a split is fine this week, as long as the one is Vanderbilt.
Yeah, if State comes home and loses to Vanderbilt, it feels like that would take away from a win against Kentucky. If they get the split.
Right.
You're not going to give the Kentucky win back, but wow.
Yeah. Be a quad 4 loss there. And I found it interesting. I looked today. State does not have a quad 4 loss right this second. Southern has done enough to this point that is still a quad 3 game for Mississippi State.
Good. How about that?
So I assume eventually it will become a quad 4 loss with Southern playing in the SWAC. But right now it's quad 3.
I understand there's a lot of concern, by the way, about the clutch minutes, and I know that's an NBA stat where it's a game within 5 points with 5 minutes to go. That's an NBA stat thing, and we don't talk about that in college. But State over the last couple of years has not been particularly great in the clutch. They just haven't. I understand that. But I did see a lot of
unicorn. Dawson Knox scored a touchdown.
Oh, imagine that. Hey, Phil Longo.
Sorry. Carry on. My bad.
Kalen DeBoer, by the way, his first road game is Madison, Wisconsin. How about that? Something. But I saw some.
He was going to coach a Big Ten game one way or the other.
Yes, he was. No doubt about it. But no, I saw a lot of see, this is why I never get excited for basketball, because every time I do, we lose. And every time. You cannot say that after you, on Wednesday, beat top 5 Tennessee in that same building. I'm not going to hear this is why I don't go to basketball games, because they always let us down. They beat top 5 Tennessee in that building like 4 days before. I don't want to hear that. The team deserves crowds. Keep showing up. They've earned it. At least we forget what happened when Tennessee came to town not even a week ago.
Plus, if you come to the Hump this weekend, you can get a free photograph with Richard Cross.
Sure. And Brian Haydad will sign it.
I will sign it.
I don't want to know what you're going to sign it as or what you're going to write on it, but hey. Yeah, I'm in Starkville the next 2 weekends.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Always glad to have you in Hump.
We can break bread together.
I'm down. I'm down.
Hey, I just want to share this real quick. You and others have had thoughts on the Humphrey Coliseum renovation. That it was, it's fine. It's nice. It's okay. I talked to someone who was there. That's how I would describe it, yes. I talked to someone who was there and was like, it's really nice. So kind of an outside perspective, not somebody that goes into the building on a daily basis. I'll tell you, it was John Sunvold, who was the analyst on the game. He and I were talking after it was over, and or maybe it was even before the game. He had been to shoot around, and he was really impressed with what they had done. So just a slightly different perspective.
It's just the idea. You still feel like you're still going to the same arena is my issue. Whereas at Ole Miss, the pavilion is not Tad Smith.
But literally, it's a different building.
Right. It's literally different. That's my difference. Yeah.
Sports Talk